introduction to the variance request.
Case number 1 on the agenda is case number 2019-0007, Callahan Residence, single-family residential at 2868 Sugar Tree Road. APN is 1170900800. Inspector is Kimberly Hayes. Council District 25, Russ Pulley. Applicant's request is to allow the following: disturbance within the water quality buffer, continuous mowing and maintenance of the buffer area, waiver of buffer sign requirements. Appellant is Margaret and David Callahan III, represented by Matt Schlicker of Kimley Horn and Associates. Comments: stormwater staff. Applicant has provided landscape mitigation and the removal of impervious area from the floodway, and additional plantings are also being proposed. Codes: no comment provided. Planning site is zoned RS20. Defer to stormwater for review. Greenways defers to the decision of Stormwater Management Committee.
Thank you very much. With that, the applicant can welcome to speak.
All right, thank you. Appreciate your time and consideration this morning. I'll try to be brief, as I know we're under a little bit of a time crunch. So Maggie and David Callahan live at 2868 Sugar Tree Road and are interested in doing some interior renovations and some small expansions to their home to make a little bit more space for a growing family. The home is located completely within the water quality buffers of Sugar Tree Creek, and so there's really no opportunity to accomplish those goals without some level of disturbance within the buffer. But we've worked hard to minimize the disturbance and then put together a mitigation plan in coordination with staff, which we feel like is robust and more than makes up for the level of disturbance that's proposed. So I'll talk briefly, but in a little bit more detail about the proposed project. The disturbance in the buffer consists mainly of a raised patio, screened-in patio area with parking below on the left side there, and then a expansion of a wooden deck on the right, and then also some area of existing wooden deck and pool area is going to be removed. So in total, there's a net increase in impervious area with those improvements of about 260 square feet, so relatively minor. Our mitigation, our mitigation plan is really focused on the northwest corner of the property, where the existing driveway sort of runs along the western property line and opens up for some parking at the bottom. This is where the existing effective buffer is the thinnest, and so we're proposing to remove about 500 square feet of asphalt area and add plantings in that area to enhance the buffer. By removing that 500 square feet of asphalt, we're increasing the effective buffer width there by about 50%. And of course, that's where the runoff sort of runs down into the river, and so we feel like that's the most appropriate place for some enhanced plantings and enhanced buffer area. We laid out the plantings such that we can maintain some views from the driveway and from the new screened-in porch, and we understand that this area is an access point for neighborhood kids to be able to get to Sugar Tree Creek, and so we felt like it was really important to not block that off completely, but maintain some access to the creek there. We've met with stormwater staff a few times in preparation of this plan and after we submitted, and feel like they're supportive of the mitigation that we're proposing. And with that, we'll respectfully request approval and happy to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone here from the public to speak in favor of or against this request? Seeing none, we'll open the discussion up to the panel.
I don't know how to turn this one on. Did we read the opening statement?
Yes.
I missed it, sorry.
I'm glad you can't challenge us.
Yeah, it's not awake.
Is the button to the right?
Right.
This one?
No, down.
This one? Awesome. So now you said that there was 260 square foot of impervious surface added. Is that after the removal of the asphalt, your 260?
No, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So with the removal of asphalt, it's actually a net increase in pervious area. So we're reducing when the project is finished, the total impervious area on site will be reduced by about 220 square feet.
Okay.
What are the colors? Again, you've got a green hatching, red, and then,
Right, so the green hatched area is the area that's existing impervious deck area that will be removed and replaced with green space, grass and plantings there. So that's new pervious area. And then the red hatching is the area that is outside of the existing building footprint that's proposed for impervious area, essentially expansion. If that makes sense.
what type of material it's going that roof? I mean, wood deck?
In the red area, that will be a wooden deck.
Wooded deck?
Yeah.
Okay. What's below the wooded deck?
Nothing, and I mean just ground surface in that area. And then to the west, there's a raised screened-in porch enclosed, and below that is parking area essentially. So parking under the raised screened-in porch.
And the asphalt or concrete that's being removed is now just like a parking area? Is that what that is back there?
That's right. Yeah, it's a parking area, and it's always a little bit tough to tell with the scale of these drawings. But removing that impervious area, it does make sort of parking and maneuverability a little bit more challenging in that area. But again, we thought it was the most appropriate place to enhance the buffer where it's the thinnest right now.
And the screened-in porch is all new?
That's correct. It's built where an existing wooden deck is right now. So, to go back to your question about the hatching, the red area is the only area that is new construction outside of the footprint of the existing building and deck. So the screened-in patio is new, but it's built where a wooden deck exists currently.
It's going to have a roof on it?
It is,
Screened in,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Hooks up to the gutter system?
It will be, yeah, there will be gutters. That's right.
And right now, it's a wooden deck, so the water just infiltrates and goes down?
It does go through, but in conversation with staff, we sort of agreed that wooden deck would be considered impervious area. I mean, of course, it does run through the deck, but it hits just a bare surface underneath that, and so
Concrete surface?
It's not concrete. I mean, it's a clay surface and runs off there.
Okay. Well, we don't have Dodd here, so someone's going to have to speak up and get this thing started.
Well, his question would be, you're continuously mowing this now, right? I
Yes,
assume, right?
yes.
And then your request is to be able to continue to
That's correct.
mow that area. That's Dodd's comment.
Do the downspouts just spill to grade, or are they piped anywhere?
No, they'll just spill to grade and run off through the pervious area towards the creek. In some early discussions, we considered doing a wet wells or something, tying them into wet wells, and realized that we need an additional variance to do those within the buffer, and also, based on the nature of the project, it falls under the, threshold for requiring those things. So we decided to focus on landscape improvements.
So it looks like the area that you're doing the additions or whatever, the ground surface is actually at or above the flood elevation. You said flood elevation is 514, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like it's 516, 515, whether
That's
that
right.
makes any difference or not. So is on this channel, is this like a retaining wall, a rock wall? What is that? Hatched line there.
Yeah, you mean it's sort of south of the
I can
driveway?
see now, yeah, no, I'm talking about along Sugar Tree Creek. Looks like
Oh,
there's like a
yes.
wall there.
It's a wall. It's a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
there's
short wall, 2-foot
that's right.
wall.
Wall that runs along the creek.
And so this backyard is used for recreation space? I mean, what,
Yeah, there's
okay, that helps.
right. So that's the existing condition of the buffer space, right? There's several pictures here, but this shows a fenced-in area with some kids' play equipment and things of that nature. So yeah, that's how it's used currently.
How long have they lived in this house?
Since 2012, I believe.
So have they been there during a flooding event?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how does that fence work out during a flood?
The water level in the creek, I guess with the construction in Green Hills, has risen since we've been there. Within the past 2 years, it's come over the wall, but not into the driveway. It comes over and just sort of spills into that grassy area right there.
Chairman, do you want them to come to the mic?
Yeah, I think pretty good idea. I'm not chairman, but I think to be able to hear them and
Sounds
have
good
them
to
on
me.
record probably good.
So it has come over the wall in the past few years and just spills into that grass area right there, but the water level is probably less than an inch in that. So it comes up higher. That wall, which has been there, I don't know, 50 years,
Yeah.
I think helps keep the water from coming onto our side of the
Well, if the base flood elevation is 5/14, and it's only overtopping the wall by about a little over 2 feet. So where's this fence occur? You showed an image of a fence. Where is that?
So you can see it runs really close to that wall. Yeah, that's a good picture of it, right?
So you haven't experienced any problems with your fence, I don't guess. Obviously, if it's only overtopped to 2 inches or so. So is that an entire enclosed fenced area?
It is. The whole backyard, that's where the kids play. So the whole backyard is fenced in.
Well, I mean, I noticed that shot along the creek wasn't fenced.
Correct. Yeah, at the end of the driveway, it doesn't, there's no fencing at the end of the driveway.
Okay.
So that's all open space right there. And I think that's where the proposed landscaping is supposed to go.
Okay, and then on the north side of this tributary, is that area used at all? Just as a wooded area that's not disturbed at all? You don't have any,
Just for kids to hunt snakes.
Okay.
That's it.
all right?
No, but it's not disturbed. It's all our neighbors have left it undisturbed on the other side.
Okay, thank you.
Were there any comments from staff?
Is this an intended sound effect to hear the creek? So,
It's a pretty special place. I mean, we don't want to do any work that's going to damage it. I mean, that's the whole reason we want to stay in the house is because we love the lot, love the look of it, and we want to take advantage of the backyard more, so.
did you have a question about staff comments?
Yes, that's one of Dodd's favorite questions.
Okay, well, I guess I was the only one at the meeting, so I think with the plantings, the removal of the asphalt, I think we were tentatively okay with what they were proposing for that's much better, for what they were actually trying to do.
All right.
Given everything, the fact that it's an older home, it's been there, sounds like we're getting more non-impervious pavement. I always say that non-impervious areas back by taking out the driveway. I recommend that we approve the proposal.
I second that, based on the natural hardship of the property, and no other way to make improvements without this, and this actually decreases impervious area. We got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes. It's granted. Thank you. Easy enough. We got 10 minutes. Let's see if we can get through the minutes. Anybody need more time to review them? And I think you had one recommended change. And that change, because we've already discussed it, I'll go ahead and state it. In the minutes, at least, it's not going to be in the letter, but in the minutes for the Carter matter, the voting record in the last paragraph there on page 3, Anna and Carrie Stokes, their names need to be switched. It was Anna Maddox that seconded the vote, and Carrie who voted against. Not seeing any other discussion. Can we have a motion on the minutes and letters if we can do both?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the changes you noted, and the letters as is.
I'll second the motion. Any discussion on the motion to approve the minutes and the letters? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. The minutes and the letters are approved with the noted exception. That is all existing business. Any new business in our 5 minutes?
Just need you to make note that July's meeting will be on the 11th, and we'll probably be in the building next door.
Please remind us with emails. Big stars on them too, because we're not going to read it. All right. A motion to.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we're adjourned. It's a fast meeting.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.